So continuing with the squatting series, another excellent option for squatting is a front squat. A front squat with a barbell is where you rack the bar in front of your neck, not behind like a back squat. To do this, you want to keep your elbows the same height as your shoulders and protract your shoulder blades. This creates a strong shelf to rack the bar. You can put your hands anywhere you want. You can cross them over your shoulders, you can keep them out in front of you, or you can even place your palms under the bar. As long as you keep your elbows up, you'll be fine. You also want to keep the bar as close to your neck as possible. A front squat might not be as comfortable as a back squat because there's less meat in front of you than behind you for the bar to rest on, and there's a barbell driving into your neck. Make sure your elbows are up the entire time, because if they drop, that shelf that you just made fails and the bar falls on the ground. Now you're that guy in the gym. Before we review the cues on how to squat, which I've reviewed in another video in the top right, it's important to understand squat mechanics. In order to do that, we need to talk about torque. Torque is force times distance from the fulcrum. Because everything in your body centers around a joint, the further from that joint a force is applied, the more torque on that joint and the more difficult the activity. This is why you want the barbell as close to your neck as possible, because the farther away it is from your neck, the more torque your shoulders have to support. With that being said, you'll notice that you can't squat as much front squatting as you can back squatting. This is because of torque. When people say a front squat is quad dominant, what they actually mean is it's quad limiting. There are many muscle groups that your squat works, and your squat is only as strong as the weakest link in the chain. Your quads, although very strong, are probably not as strong as your back or your glutes or your hamstring. Therefore, your quads have to work at let's say 90% to produce the same amount of force that your glutes do at, let's say, 60%. Since your quads are working much harder than your glutes for the same activity, they'll fatigue faster, but also probably get a better workout. A front squat is quad limiting because the torque at the knee, the joint where the quads act, is much greater than the deadlift or back squat. In a back squat, to keep the bar over the middle of the foot, you need to bend from the torso slightly and position your hips slightly further behind your heels. Yet in a front squat, you're allowed a little bit more of an upright posture and your hips don't need to be positioned so far back. Because your hips are closer to the bar line, your knees get pushed slightly forward compared to a back squat. This increases the torque experienced at the knee because the joint is further away from where the force is acting. One might think that because you have to protract your shoulders, this directly causes your spine to deviate from neutral. It's worth noting that the shoulder girdle doesn't dictate how your thoracic or cervical spine align. Rounding the back is easier to conceptualize by protracting the shoulders, but it's not guaranteed to pull the spine out of alignment. You have to keep your elbows high when front squatting or wrist dropping the bar. Your spine tends to be in neutral alignment because of this. The three big things to keep in mind are keep the bar as close to you as possible, keep your elbows high throughout the entire movement, and you're not going to be able to do as much weight front squatting as you would back squatting, so use less weight. Please comment below if you have any concerns or questions. And consider subscribing if you want to continue with this squatting series. Thank you and good luck.